Let's start. Let's go back to politics now, because Fox News is America's election headquarters, as you know, and Donald Trump, mocking Jeb Bush as the former Florida governor, appears to dig himself now into a deeper hole. Listen as Governor Bush attempts to explain a recent comment about so-called anchor babies.
What I was talking about was the specific case of fraud being committed where there's organized efforts, and frankly, it's more related to Asian people coming into our country, having children, in that organized efforts, taking advantage of a noble concept with his birthright citizenship.
Well, Trump taking to Twitter today saying, quote, Asians are very offended that Jeb said that anchor babies applies to them as a way to be more politically correct to Hispanics, a mess. Well, the voters appear to be siding with Trump in at least one survey. Trump leading the latest Monmouth University poll, far ahead of his closest competitor, Ben Carlson, by 2-1. That's in South Carolina. Joining me now, president of the new Democratic Network, Simon Rosenberg, and host of Mornings on the Mall on WMAL, Larry O'Connor. Good to see the both of you. All right.
Good to see you, Gretchen.
So what are we to make now of this newest spat, Larry, between Bush, well, really Trump calling him out, kind of forcing other candidates into the box with this terminology of anchor babies, right?
Well, yeah, and listen, Jeb Bush made this bet. He's got a lie in it. He's the one who sort of jumped on this, oh, it's offensive to use the term anchor babies. He started to walk down the politically correct path, but he is a mess. I don't understand what he means. I don't think he understands what he means. I mean, am I supposed to take from this that it's okay to use the term anchor babies if you're talking about Asians? It makes no sense. The bottom line is Donald Trump is, again, talking about issues that mean a lot to the core conservative voters, those voters who have been wanting the Republican Party to actually do what they've been promising for decades, which is enforce the border and do something about this illegal immigration problem.
All right. So, Simon, let's look at that South Carolina poll. I mean, Trump's at 30% in South Carolina. Ben Carlson, again, and in some other polls, he's also been number 2, and Jeb Bush at 9%.
Yeah, I mean, Jeb's had a very bad week. I mean, he's managed to offend everybody he possibly can. It's very hard to understand, as Larry said, what he was saying on this. He also, it reminds you a little bit of his Iraq answers a couple weeks ago. Look, I think Jeb's lost a step as a candidate. I mean, he's not nearly as strong and sure-footed as we thought he was going to be. He's been making a lot of mistakes. And what's been interesting since your debate, Gretchen, at Fox, is both Bush and Walker seem to have weakened dramatically. And you've seen rise of Trump, Cruz, Carly, who's one of Larry's favorite candidates, and Ben Carlson, who are really starting to surge. It's a very different landscape than it was a few weeks ago.
All right, let's go over to the Democratic side. Say it ain't so, Joe. Vice President Joe Biden making some hires, holding meetings, which are adding to speculation, of course, of a possible presidential run. So if he does enter the race, it poses a sticky situation for the president. Does he back his sitting vice president or former Secretary of State? Dun, dun, dun. Larry, which one?
Do you see the smile on my face?
Okay.
I mean, this is a twofer. First of all, we talk radio hosts, we get Joe Biden in the race, which is radio gold. But secondly, it's going to be a bloody mess in the Democratic Party. I mean, Hillary Clinton is not going to go quietly into the night. This is going to be very ugly. It's going to be very dirty, and I'm popping the popcorn. I can't wait. The Democratic Party is in disarray, and they have a problem because Barack Obama doesn't have much of a bench here in the party. I mean, at this point, Lois Lerner's dog, Toby Miles, could do better than most of the candidates.
Okay, that's actually a combination of her dog and her husband. Go figure on that one. But actually, Simon...
Well, I assume the dog took the last name of the husband. So.
Okay. But could it be that actually Joe Biden getting into the race could help Hillary? Because a lot of people have said she needs more competition to really shine. I don't know. Is that true?
Listen, my gut is that the vice president's going to get in. It's certainly all the leaks this week certainly seems like they've almost passed the point of no return in their race. They're meeting with very serious people. All the indications are we're going to have a very competitive primary. I mean, Gretchen, what I've been saying all year on this show is that Hillary was going to have a strong set of challengers. I just didn't know who they were. Because I think, there are people who, like on the Republican side, people want to run. They want to get out there. They want to have their voice heard. So I think we're about to have a much more competitive race on the Democratic side. And I think the president stays out until there's resolution in the primary itself.
Okay, very interesting. All right, now, Larry, you recently embarked on another political partnership. Look at these gorgeous photos. Larry, congratulations. You got married over the weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Thank you. Yeah, they really are great. Oh, it still seems like a dream. Look at that. Yeah, Meredith Dake O'Connor. She's an editor over at Roll Call, and I'm still walking on air. That was just Friday when we got married. And Gretchen, this is my honeymoon.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing
it. You and Simon.
It's a Washington honeymoon. It's a Washington honeymoon.
And for being on The Real Story. You know what? He tweeted out that he was wearing a gray tie today, and I retweeted, how could you possibly be gray 3 days after your wedding? Congrats.
I know. It's a letdown.
Oh, it's all
Thanks,
sunny
Gretchen.
skies ahead.
Larry,
we'll see how the election turns out, though. Simon and Larry, thanks much. Congrats.